register to vote, please. 2 hours left.
If you have been near the University of Florida's campus today, there is one question you would probably have been asked.
Are you registered to vote in Alachua County?
Hi, are you registered to vote in Alachua County?
Since today is the last day to register to vote in the state of Florida, voter registration organizations are out full force at UF to register young people to vote. Frank Plagman is a UF student who volunteers with College Democrats and is out registering voters now. Plagman said the young vote is crucial in this year's election and wants to make sure everyone is registered.
I think the young vote could definitely make the difference in the election, in the presidential election. I mean, Florida's a swing state, and in the 2000 presidential election, it came down to around 500 votes, so UF campus could easily make a difference.
The majority of volunteers out registering students to vote are members of Gators for Obama or other organizations affiliated with the Democratic Party. Today, I spoke with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a chair for the Democratic National Committee, on the importance young voters will have in the upcoming 2012 presidential election. Since Romney has surged in the polls, how does that change the push for young voters?
Well, I think it becomes more critical for young voters to make sure that they get out and get registered. Today is the voter registration deadline in Florida, and we need to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to cast their ballot and help determine their future. President Obama has had the backs of America's young people. He's already made sure that more Pell Grants are available, increased the amount of the Pell Grant available, fought hard to make sure that student loan interest rates didn't double, while Mitt Romney and the Republicans opposed all of that. President Obama, over the next 4 years, has committed to cut college tuition increases in half, and is focused on making sure that we can give Americans an opportunity to succeed if they work hard and play by the rules. That's the bottom line.
And what do you think Obama's campaign has to do to stay on top of the polls?
Well, I think we're going to continue to do what we've always done, which is we're standing up the largest, most significant, most dynamic grassroots presidential campaign in history. While Mitt Romney and the Republicans have a handful of billionaires trying to buy them the White House, we have a people-powered campaign, one that is fueled by the grassroots. We're doing tens of thousands of door knocks in Florida and phone calls, and we need young people to come down to their local Obama for America office, get involved, volunteer, help us make sure that we can continue to move this economy in our country forward, help us make sure that we can give everyone an opportunity to succeed, and that everybody has a fair shot and a fair shake, and everybody plays by the same set of rules.
And how underrepresented do you think the young voters are in the polls? I know it is hard for people to
because of cell phones.
Right, cell phones, people see an unknown caller, why are they going to answer? So how do you know where the young people stand politically?
Well, we've had the support of young people in America overwhelmingly since President Obama first ran for office, and because we use a really significant outreach, we have a really significant outreach effort through social media and on our online outreach efforts. We have a lot of activism and involvement from young people through our social media tools, and we've recognized from the first day of the president's campaign that we need to make sure that we take this campaign where the youth vote is.
Do you think the young vote is a major reason that Romney has surged in the polls?
No. I think that President Obama continues to enjoy the support overwhelmingly of the youth vote, and that's because there's such a huge contrast between the two directions that Mitt Romney and President Obama have proposed for young people. Mitt Romney famously told a young college student that asked him a question about how he would afford to continue to go to college. Mitt Romney's advice to that student was to go borrow money from your parents. And President Obama has increased the amount of the Pell Grant, has invested $1 billion in historically black colleges and universities, ensured that more young people have an opportunity to get a higher education. Mitt Romney's budget actually cuts Pell Grants and would take nearly 10 million students off of their ability to qualify for Pell Grants. It goes in the wrong direction, and I think President Obama will win the youth vote. We just need to make sure that every young person in America gets out and votes.
And do you think that young people are represented well in the polls?
Well, I think that the only poll that matters is on Election Day. I mean, that's how we look at it. We know that this is going to be a close election. There's a lot at stake. This is really the most important election of our lives. We can't go back to the failed policies of the past that nearly crashed our economy and got us into the worst economic crisis we've faced since the Great Depression. We can't elect a president like Mitt Romney would be, who has policies that would say, let's take care of millionaires and billionaires and make sure they're doing really well, and hope the crumbs of their success drop on the rest of us.
And if a young person was listening to this interview and they said, I don't want to vote, I don't think my vote matters, and it won't count, what would you say to that person?
Well, every vote counts and every vote matters. I mean, really, when it comes right down to it, this is the most important election of our lives. We've had more young people than ever before have an opportunity to go to college. So every vote matters. This will be a close election, and we need to make sure that young people vote as if their future depends on it, because it does.